Hello, Connor.
Hi, how you doing?
Golden like a honey badger.
Oh, I love that saying. I have missed that. I have missed that.
Okay, well, this is our lockdown 3.0 interview.
Yeah. Yeah. Feels like it's been going on forever.
That's the thing. At the start of it, I started working out because I was like, oh, I'll use the next month to work out and be productive and tidy the house and sort everything. I never imagined it would be going on over a year.
No. Oh my God, no. I mean, like I started doing the 30 push-ups, 30 days for mental health. And it sort of just spiraled from there. Luckily, I got back to the gym in between like the cut off for like the lockdown coming back in. And then the lockdown came back and I was like, great, back to working out at home. That sounds fun. So back to the push-ups, back to the body weight exercises, which is just, it just is what it is. It's not as fun as being at gym, that's for sure. I mean, I'm 17 and a half stone, just purely because I'm 6'6". Like, I don't look 17 and a half stone, but I am. So like doing things like, oh, sorry, just bear with, I'll decline that. Yeah, sorry about that.
It's okay.
So doing like body weight exercises takes a lot of like toll on you being so tall. And it's like I'm pushing my entire body weight.
But that ties in beautifully to Misanthropos, because I'm sure one of the reasons you were cast as one of our handsome, strapping soldiers is you're so intimidating.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I get cast like that a lot because of just purely off my height. Like, I'm a lovely person. I like to think I'm a nice, caring, gentle kind of giant, and I get cast in these intimidating roles, which I love because it gives me a chance to be something that I'm not.
Well, I often get cast, even though I maybe shouldn't say this, because in Misanthropos, I am just so sweet and innocent. I'm often cast as a villain, which is the polar opposite of me. I think it's, I mean, other than I play a villain really well, because I love villains. I always have.
Everyone loves villains.
The best role. You have less screen time to mess up, and so you can really focus on the scenes you have. But I always just treat them as people, mainly because probably I've never had to deal with a proper villain. So I'm like, then they just need a hug.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's like if I ever get the opportunity to play a villain, which I do more than I get to play a nice person, it's you are the best character in it because you can be all those hateful things that you're just not on a daily basis. You really get to stretch your acting ability, which I love. I love it.
I think there's also something about we enjoy being things we're not. It's very fascinating how so many comedians are actually massively depressed, and so many dramatic actors always seem so happy and cheerful. I think there's something in that we're drawn to what we're not.
Maybe it's playing the duality of yourself. You get to use the parts that you don't use in your daily life on stage, and then that transfers over, so you have to use the rest of it in your daily life.
Well, linking this to Misanthropos, would you say your soldier is more villain or more good guy?
No, I definitely think he's a good guy. I think he's more. I was going to say something really nerdy then. I'll check myself before I say the nerdy thing. No, I definitely think he's more neutral in what he does. He's just following orders, and he thinks that they're good orders. He thinks they're right, and that's why he does it. So he believes himself to be good, but doesn't everyone? Doesn't the villain always believe that they're good? So in my perspective, he is a good character. He's a good guy.
Well, in comparison to Jack, who would you say is the more good guy?
Oh God. I think if we were to play it as the the duality of our characters be one and playing half and half. I would tend to think that he's the more probably optimistic soldier, and I'm the more broody, look into the future and see the death and destruction that we're causing. So maybe in a way he's the worst guy. Maybe, I'm sorry, keeps going on. In a way he is the worst guy, but yeah, I think I'm the more realistic nice guy, because I see the death and destruction, and he just brushes it off as something that he's doing. So to him, it is part of who he is.
What is your favorite memory of our little Misanthropos family?
So I have a lot of great experiences from the shoot that we did, and I think the amount of time that I got to bond with Jack, because we were always only in the same scenes together. You know, the amount of time that we sat and just played chess in the what's it called, the conservatory area of the shoot.
Atrium.
In the atrium area, yeah. And we just sat on the table playing chess like for hours on end. And I think that gave us a lot of time to talk and have fun and make jokes. And we kind of bonded over the fact that that's what we were going to be doing for days while we waited to go on. And it made the time fly.
But in a very positive way, if we're going with the whole Schreckner's theory of acting training, he believes it's all about relationships and chemistry. So he would, for example, if it's a 4-week rehearsal period, the first week and a half would just be playing games. There'd be no script, no nothing.
Yeah.
It's building that chemistry. So having that opportunity to really bond with Jack, it would come through on screen, and that how
Absolutely.
You one, and it's wonderful.
I think we did that bonding. We did those games. We had a great time in our costumes, and we sat there for hours, knowing full well that we were going to be there for hours.
Your body armor costumes were...
I love it. I love it so much. I really desperately hope that they let me take at least the helmet. I just want it as a piece of memorabilia. I've asked Maximianno already to see if he'll let me keep it after the shoot. And he said, depending on reshoots and things like that, but I will buy it. I will pay for the materials that it costs to. I will give up some of my wages from this job. I don't care. I just want that helmet to put on display in my room, so I can always look at it and be like, that's when I did that. And then walk around wearing it. Yeah, I mean, I was quite lucky, because obviously we got the weapons, the shields, the armor, and this helmet was just an extension of me. Every time that I walked somewhere, I was like, where's my helmet? I always knew where it was, regardless of where I was. So yeah, I really hope that he lets me keep it. I'll be bitterly disappointed if he doesn't.
Do you feel it helped you get into character? I know it sounds weird, but is there an element of, once I put it on, it's there? I
mean, not so much the helmet, but definitely the rest of the armor. Putting on that chest plate was just everything. Because after you put it on, you feel the weight. Because it's real leather. It's a heavy piece of equipment, and sitting around in it all day, you kind of get the sense of how uncomfy it would be, and how cumbersome it would be to actually fight and sort of hold the shield and the spear and the. So it all together sort of brings out the character in you. You become a stronger person. You kind of don't take anything from anyone, because you know for a fact that you're safe.
Brilliant. Okay, I'm going to try something new with this one.
Okay.
Just a little slice of life for the people watching at home. What room are we in?
This is my bedroom, surrounded by all my knickknacks and gaming setup and books and comics and everything else.
Nice. What's your favorite thing you have in your room?
So I actually drew this. I chalked this. This is yeah, this is chalk. So I made this, and I'm so proud of it that it literally just sits in my window all day. The light shining from behind it is just, it's mad. And if you can't tell, it's the Joker from obviously the Gotham games, the Arkham Knight and the Arkham Asylum.
I would be very surprised if anyone looked at that and didn't get that it was the Joker.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty iconically the Joker, Mark Hamill's Joker, and I just love it. I love doing it. Took me about a day and a half.
That's fantastic. You need to bring your sketching stuff to the shoot in Paris.
Yeah, you see, I didn't have, they're not mine. So one of my friends before lockdown, he came over to my flat and brought some canvases and all his like pastels and some tape and things. And we just spent like 4 days just doing different projects and just having a bit of fun. And I ended up with that, and I really enjoyed it.
I don't know about you, but I'm finding with myself and my friends that as we approach the end of lockdown, it seems to be getting harder.
Yeah, I think the idea of returning to other people's normal lives. So I've been quite lucky in a sense with lockdown, but I've been quite proactive in finding other work. So currently I'm doing deliveries from hospital to hospital, delivering COVID samples and bloods and things like that. So I do that every day of the week. So I am quite busy, apart from Saturday and Sunday where I get that off, and that's kind of me nerd out time. But I try and stay as busy as possible. I kind of figured that because the acting world was going to take a hit, and there's a lot of people vying for not a lot of jobs, and a lot of those jobs will go to people that are established in the industry, I kind of need a way of doing something a bit more essential. And that's what I turned to.
I understand what you mean in the sense of we are so intrinsically actors, and to have that taken away, and for a lot of us, I mean, I speak for myself in this scenario, that it's all I want to do and it's all I have done for years. Have that taken away, you really feel like you have nothing left, even though we do. So I think to fill that void with not just a job, but something where you're like, I'm making a difference, I'm doing some good in this world is
I feel like a lot of time I spent when I wasn't working at the very start of the first lockdown and start of the second lockdown and then the start of this third lockdown. A lot of time I just felt a bit of despair, sort of like, well, all I've done is act, and all I want to do is act. But right now there are other things that need doing that people aren't doing, and there isn't enough acting work to go out. So I can still make my own projects. I can still film myself doing monologues, and whether those monologues are to my normal quality or to my ability that I know that I can put in is another matter. But I know that I'm doing other aspects in my life that are fulfilling in different ways. And that's what I've tended to find with this job especially.
Oh, I think that's wonderful. And it just adds to your aura of the gentle giant.
Yeah, literally, I play that character very well.
You and Dolly Parton, saving the world.
Oh, of course. I mean, one of the hospitals that I was in, she opened the maternity ward, which I was like, what? Why was she in, like, Rotherham? And there's a big poster of her on the wall holding a baby. And then, like, the parents are behind her, like, looking on as that it's like, give me back my baby. But yeah, you know, it's nice to do nice things every now and again. But we should all look at how we can all contribute to making everyone feel better, everyone better, rather than just ourselves better for a short time.
Yes, and that would be my advice to anyone watching at home. I do Monday messages, and I message my friends and my family just to check in on them, and I try to crack a joke. I'm not necessarily the funniest, so maybe the jokes aren't great, but I give it a whirl, and sometimes the failure of a joke is just as funny. And if you can just spread that little bit of love, it makes you feel better, and it certainly...
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just a little bit of positivity, a little bit of happiness, and just sending someone a message who you might not have spoken to in a while. It really does make such a difference to their mental health, and maybe to your own mental health. You don't realize how much you're struggling until you can actually sit down and talk to someone.
Yeah. So my final question, Connor, which is very easy to do. Let's have a hair off. Who's been doing better in lockdown?
Right. Okay, so last week, if you'd have seen my beard, I looked homeless. I got a pair of scissors and a razor, not even a beard trimmer, a razor, and went carving into my face. So I have quite a nice line at the moment.
That is really nice.
It's quite sharp. Took me about 40 minutes, and then my hair's just horrific.
I think, well, okay, I mean, I will say, like, mine's now sat in this rather beautiful coif that I quite like.
Oh, yeah. It's a very Brendan Fraser kind of coif. I mean, that's the thing, though. I mean, you have a vision. I guess if you're not English, you have a vision of what an English accent is. And when someone who's English comes on and does an English accent, they go, that's not what I think an English accent is. When in fact, that is an English accent because you're English.
Yeah, especially Americans, they think you're either posh and therefore related to the Queen, Cockney, or Mancunian because of Fraser. Even though that is nothing like Manchester.
Nothing like Manchester. If they went to Manchester, I worry that they'd struggle to understand me sometimes, which they probably would.
No, I think while you do have an accent, you also have a very eloquent speaking voice that's very clear and pronounced. I'm sure if you didn't, you wouldn't be cast in a Shakespeare feature film because you enunciate.
Yes, probably.
I think sadly for us, I think the country will by the summer not be back to normal, but be back to a much greater normality. I think our industry will take longer to recover. Hopefully for us, we will still be able to film in Paris in October. I believe that strongly. But I think it'll be a long time before I get back to the point that I was before COVID, where I just was always working. I think it's going to be a long time.
On a positive note, I guess this time coming out of COVID, it gives opportunity to make your own work for people that haven't had that opportunity, and to start off where everyone's starting right at the beginning and move forward together. So there's going to be new growth, new productions, new companies, and it's all very exciting. New avenues, online plays to do, and you're staying trim, fresh, and ready.
Exactly. Ready.
I'm sure you are.
You have a lovely rest of your weekend and enjoy computer games and be safe, okay?
Thank you very much. You too. Bye.
All right.